Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English story. The struggle with negativity. It was a cold, gray morning when Sam sat in his small office, staring blankly at his computer screen. His inbox was filled with unread emails. His to-do list grew longer every day, and the weight of the world seemed to be pressing down on his shoulders. The past few months had been hard. Work felt overwhelming. His relationships seemed distant, and no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was stuck. Every time he looked at the successes of his colleagues or friends, it only made him feel more inadequate. His mind seemed to focus on the things that went wrong, the opportunities he missed, and the mistakes he made. His inner critic was loud, always telling him he wasn't good enough, that he wasn't living up to his potential. One day, during a meeting, his manager casually mentioned that the company was looking for someone to take on more responsibility, and Sam immediately felt a rush of fear. His first thought was, "I can't do that. I'm not good enough." That thought quickly turned into a negative spiral that left him feeling paralyzed and unworthy. It was at that moment that his close friend Rachel, who had been quietly observing Sam's growing frustration, asked him a simple question. "Why do you always assume the worst?" Sam shrugged, unsure of how to answer. "I just don't see things getting better," he replied. "Everything feels like it's going downhill." Rachel smiled gently. "What if you tried seeing things differently? What if instead of assuming the worst, you could focus on what's going well and build from there?" Sam was taken aback. The idea seemed so simple, yet so foreign. How could he focus on the good when everything seemed to be falling apart? But Rachel's words lingered in his mind, and for the first time, Sam realized that perhaps his constant negativity was the root of his struggles. Perhaps he had been too focused on the problems to see the solutions. A shift in perspective. Sam decided to take Rachel's advice seriously. He didn't know how to start, but he was willing to try. The next morning, he made a commitment to himself. Every time a negative thought entered his mind, he would challenge it with a positive one. At first, it was hard. When he sat down at his desk and saw a mountain of emails, his first thought was, "I'll never get through all of this." But then, he paused, took a deep breath, and flipped the thought one step at a time. He reminded himself, "I can handle this." The more Sam practiced this new mindset, the easier it became. Whenever he thought about the things he didn't like about his job, he tried to shift his focus to the things he enjoyed. He started seeing his work as an opportunity to grow, to learn new skills, and to contribute in meaningful ways. He even began to appreciate the small victories, the emails he managed to send, the tasks he completed, the positive feedback he received. Rachel continued to be a source of support, reminding Sam that positive thinking wasn't about ignoring challenges but about finding the strength to face them with a hopeful mindset. "You, thoughts shape your reality," she would tell him. "What you believe is what you will experience." Overcoming obstacles. One day, Sam's boss approached him with a new project that required him to lead a team. It was a big responsibility, and Sam felt the familiar rush of self-doubt. His mind quickly went to the worst-case scenarios. What if he failed? What if the team didn't respect him? But instead of letting those fears control him, Sam remembered Rachel's advice. "I can do this," he told himself. "I've got the skills, and I've got the support of my team." He took on the project with a renewed sense of confidence. And as the days went on, he found that his positive mindset was helping him overcome the challenges he encountered. He communicated openly with his team, learned to delegate, and stayed focused on the bigger picture. When obstacles arose, he faced them with solutions instead of getting discouraged. The project was a success, and Sam realized something important. Positive thinking didn't mean that everything would go perfectly. It meant having the resilience to keep going, even when things didn't go as planned. He had developed a sense of optimism that made him more adaptable and open to change. The ripple effect. As time passed, Sam noticed how his shift in thinking was having a ripple effect in his life. His relationships with his friends and family improved because he was no longer bringing negativity into every conversation. He started to see the good in others, and his optimism was contagious. At work, his colleagues noticed the change in him too. He was more approachable, more collaborative, and more confident in his abilities. People began to turn to him for advice and leadership, and Sam felt a sense of pride that he hadn't experienced before. It wasn't about being perfect, it was about being resilient, hopeful, and willing to embrace the challenges of life with a positive attitude. Embracing the power of positivity. One evening, Sam sat with Rachel over coffee, reflecting, how far he had come. He felt like a different person. The negativity that once consumed him was now replaced with a quiet confidence, a belief that no matter what came his way, could handle it. "I never realized how much power my thoughts had," Sam said. "By changing my mindset, I've been able to transform my life in ways I never thought possible." Rachel smiled, proud of her friend. Positive thinking isn't just about hoping for the best, it's about believing that you can make the best of any situation. It's about trusting yourself, knowing that even when things don't go perfectly, you have the strength to move forward. Sam nodded, feeling grateful for the lessons he had learned. He had discovered that happiness wasn't something that just happened, it was something he created by choosing to focus on the positive, to embrace challenges, and to believe in his ability to grow. Moral: the power of perspective. Positive thinking is not about ignoring life's challenges, but about facing them with a hopeful attitude. Resilience is key. The ability to stay hopeful and take action in the face of adversity is what ultimately leads to success and growth. Small shifts lead to big changes. Shifting your mindset, even in small ways, can have a profound impact on your life. Belief in yourself. confidence and self-belief are foundational to creating a positive and fulfilling life. The ripple effect. Positive attitude doesn't just affect you, it can positively impact the people around you. The transformation begins. As Sam embraced his commitment to positive thinking, he began noticing subtle but powerful shifts in his perspective. The transition wasn't instantaneous, but the seeds of change were starting to take root in his daily life. One of the first moments that stood out to him came one rain Monday morning when he arrived at work and found a mess of last-minute tasks waiting for him. Normally, he would have sighed in frustration and immediately felt overwhelmed, convinced that the day was already ruined. But this time, something was different. As he sat down at his desk, he reminded himself, I can take this one step at a time. Instead of allowing himself to get lost in the chaos, Sam made a plan. He prioritized his tasks, focused on one thing at a time, and made sure to give himself breaks when needed. He worked steadily, not worrying about the entire to-do list, but rather trusting that if he took consistent action, he could handle it. By the end of the day, Sam had completed most of the tasks and felt a surprising sense of accomplishment. Instead of feeling drained and defeated as he had in the past, he felt empowered. For the first time, he realized that his thoughts and mindset had a direct impact on his experience. When he chose to approach the day with a sense of control and optimism, he could navigate even the busiest moments with greater ease. Throughout the following week, Sam faced more challenges, both at work and in his personal life, but he began to see patterns in how his thoughts affected his actions. Whenever a negative thought entered his mind, he worked on replacing it with something constructive. One day, Sam had an important meeting with a client. He knew he had to present a proposal that would require his full attention and confidence. As he sat in the meeting room, he felt the familiar pang of anxiety in his stomach. His mind began to race with thoughts of self-doubt. What if I mess up? What if they don't like my ideas? But instead of letting those worries take over, Sam paused and focused on his breath. He remembered something Rachel had told him, when your mind is spinning, just focus on the present moment. Take a deep breath and remind yourself that you're capable of handling this. He took a moment to center himself, taking a slow, deep breath before speaking. As he presented his ideas to the client, his voice remained steady, and he found himself more confident. His delivery. The presentation went well, and when the client gave positive feedback, Sam felt a sense of pride. He realized that his ability to remain calm and optimistic, even in the face of uncertainty, had made a significant difference. That evening, Sam reflected on the day. It had been a simple, yet powerful reminder that positive thinking was not about eliminating fear or doubt. It was about choosing to act despite them. It was about trusting in his ability to face challenges head-on, without letting his negative thoughts dictate his outcomes. Over the next few weeks, Sam noticed more instances where his new mindset was helping him thrive. He started to find joy in the small things like taking a walk outside during lunch breaks or enjoying a cup of coffee with friends without rushing. He found himself less focused on what he hadn't accomplished and more grateful for what he had. Sam also made a conscious effort to share his positive thinking journey with his colleagues. He had always been the one to focus on the challenges, the roadblocks, and the things that weren't going right. But now, he shared his small wins and encouraged others to embrace optimism. The ripple effect was clear. His teammates started opening up more, expressing their own goals and successes, and finding ways to navigate their own stress with a more positive outlook. In his personal life, Sam's relationships improved as well. He had always been quick to point out flaws in his friends or family members, especially when things weren't going the way he expected. But now, with his mindset shift, he took the time to listen, to appreciate, and to acknowledge the good in others. One evening, as Sam had dinner with his parents, he found himself in a much more present and engaged conversation than he would have been just a few months ago. Instead of focusing on what had gone wrong in his day or venting about work, he genuinely listened to his parents, asking about their lives and showing interest in their experiences. The conversation felt lighter, and Sam realized that by focusing on the positives in his life, he was able to foster stronger, more meaningful relationships. A moment of doubt. However, as Sam continued on this journey of positive thinking, he soon found himself facing a challenge that tested his resolve. A few months after he started this new way of thinking, his company underwent a sudden restructuring. A number of positions were eliminated, and Sam's department was under review. He had worked hard on several important projects, but the uncertainty of the situation made him feel like he was back at square one. His positive thinking, which had served him well before, now felt harder to hold on to. Sam's first reaction was a rush of worry. What if he lost his job? What if his work wasn't good enough to keep him employed? He could feel the negative thoughts creeping back in. I knew it was too good to be true. I won't make it through this. I'm not strong enough to handle this. For a moment, Sam was tempted to revert to his old patterns, letting fear take over and focusing on the worst-case scenario. But then, he remembered everything he had learned about positive thinking and resilience. He knew this wasn't the time to let negativity take control. Instead, he took a few deep breaths and told himself, I've faced tough times before, and I've made it through. I will get through this too. Sam reached out to his colleagues, offering support and collaborating with them to ensure they all stayed focused and optimistic despite the uncertainty. He also focused on improving his skills and learning from the feedback he had received in the past. Instead of fearing the worst, he focused on what he could control: his attitude, his effort, and his approach to the situation. It wasn't easy, but Sam found strength in his new mindset. Even when things seemed uncertain, he chose to focus on what he could do rather than what he couldn't control. As the restructuring process continued, Sam realized that the hardest part wasn't the challenges he faced, it was the way he thought about them. By maintaining a positive, proactive mindset, he found peace in knowing that he was doing everything he could to adapt and succeed. Moral 1. The power of perspective. Positive thinking doesn't mean everything will be perfect, but it allows you to navigate challenges with hope and strength. 2. Small wins lead to big changes. Focusing on what's going well, no matter how small, can shift your mindset and lead to greater success. 3. Resilience is key. Life will always throw obstacles your way, but your mindset determines how you respond to them. 4. Focus on what you can control. Letting go of things outside of your control frees up energy to focus on your actions, your attitude, and your personal growth. 5. The ripple effect. Your positivity can inspire others and create an environment of support, collaboration, and mutual growth. The long-term journey. As Sam's journey of positive thinking continued, he began to understand that embracing an optimistic mindset wasn't just about solving problems or getting through tough times. It was a long-term approach to life. He realized that positive thinking was something that needed to be nurtured daily, and it had the power to transform not only his work life but his entire perspective on the world. A new challenge. Months passed, and Sam found himself facing a new challenge. One day, he received an unexpected invitation to speak at a national conference on workplace wellness. The event organizers had heard about his journey to embrace positive thinking and were eager to hear his story. Sam, although initially flattered, felt a wave of anxiety wash over him. Public speaking had always been something he avoided. The thought of speaking to a large audience made his palms sweat, his heart race, and his mind spin with worries. What if I mess up? What if they don't like me? What if I forget everything I planned to say? These thoughts began to flood high mind, threatening to undo everything he had worked so hard to build. But instead of letting his fear control him, Sam decided to apply everything he had learned about positive thinking to this new challenge. He took a step back and examined his thoughts. These fears are just thoughts. They don't define me. What matters is that I'm taking action, and I'm willing to push myself beyond my comfort zone. Sam began to prepare for his speech. He practiced in front of a mirror, recorded himself speaking, and asked for feedback from his close friends. He reminded himself that it was okay to be nervous. That wasn't a sign of weakness, but rather a sign that he was growing. And the more he practiced, the more he could see his progress. Slowly but surely, he started to feel more confident. On the day of the conference, as he stepped onto the stage in front of hundreds of people, Sam felt the familiar flutter of nerves, but this time, he didn't allow those nerves to control him. He focused on the message he wanted to share and the value he hoped to bring to the audience. He shared his story, how he had struggled with negativity and fear, and how he had transformed his mindset by embracing the power of positive thinking. To his surprise, the more he spoke, the more comfortable he became. His voice steadied, and the words flowed naturally. He felt a deep sense of connection with the audience. They were engaged, nodding, and smiling as he spoke about the importance of shifting your perspective and taking small, positive actions to improve one's life. When he finished his speech, the audience gave him a stand-in ovation. Sam felt a rush of pride and gratitude. This was a moment he would always remember, one that marked his personal growth and the culmination of months of hard work. But Sam knew that this was just one small victory on a much longer journey. Positive thinking wasn't something that could be perfected overnight. It was a continuous process of self-awareness, growth, and action. The power of self-reflecting. After the conference, Sam spent some time reflecting on th experience. He realized that speaking in front of an audience had been a powerful lesson in pushing past his fears. He had been afraid of failing, but by choosing to focus on what he could control, his preparation, his message, and his mindset, he had been able to succeed. And the success wasn't just in the applause from the audience. It was in the way he had conquered his own self-doubt and had grown stronger through the process. He knew that the same mindset applied to every challenge in life, whether it was dealing with difficult people at work, fasten, personal setbacks, or simply getting through a tough day. He could always choose to approach each moment with a positive mindset and the belief that he was capable of handling it. This realization was freeing. Sam no longer saw himself as a victim of circumstances or a prisoner of his fears. Instead, he began to view every obstacle as an opportunity to grow. He started to see challenges not as barriers but as stepping stones that could lead him to greater heights. Building resilience over time. Over the following months, Sam continued to embrace positive thinking in all areas of his life. He faced setbacks. Of course, life had a way of throwing unexpected challenges his way, but each time, he applied the same principles of resilience that had helped him earlier in his journey. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, he focused on what he could learn from the experience. Instead of giving up when things got tough, he kept going, knowing that persistence was key to success. Sam also learned to manage his emotions better. He realized that positive thinking wasn't about suppressing negative feelings. It was about acknowledging them without letting them control his actions. When he felt overwhelmed or frustrated, he gave himself permission to take a break, to process his emotions, and to regroup. He practiced mindfulness techniques like deep breathing and journaling, which helped him stay grounded in the present moment. As he continued to apply these practices, Sam noticed that his relationships with others also began to improve. He became more patient, understanding, and empathetic. Instead of getting frustrated with others, he found himself listening more and responding with kindness. This not only strengthened his connections with colleagues, friends, and family members, but it also helped create a more positive and supportive environment around him. Sam understood now that positive thinking was not a one-time fix. It was an ongoing practice that required commitment and self-awareness. It was about making choices every day, choosing to focus on solutions rather than problems, choosing to act with intention, and choosing to be grateful for the opportunities life presented. Even in difficult time, the ripple effect. As Sam's life continued to improve, he found that his positive attitude began to influence others around him. His colleagues at work, who had once seen him as someone who often complained or focused on what wasn't working, began to notice the change. They asked him for advice on how to stay calm and focused during stressful situations, and they started to adopt some of the positive thinking practices Sam had shared with them. Sam's friends and family also saw the difference. His relationships became stronger and more fulfilling as he learned to give and receive love with more openness. His social circles began to thrive on the energy of positivity, and Sam found himself surrounded by people who were also working to create better lives for themselves. Through it all, Sam came to understand that positive thinking was not just a tool for personal success, it was a way of life that could help create a ripple effect of goodness, resilience, and growth. When he chose to think positively, it wasn't just his life that changed, it was the lives of everyone he encountered. Moral 1. Resilience is built over time. Positive thinking is a journey, not a destination. Each challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience and grow. 2. Embrace fear. Don't let it control you. Fear is natural, but it doesn't have to define you. You can overcome fear by taking action, even when you're unsure. 3. Focus on what you can control. The power of positive thinking lies in your ability to focus on what you can influence, rather than what's outside your control. 4. Small positive actions lead to big changes. Every small decision you make to embrace positivity builds momentum and leads to greater success in the long run. 5. Your attitude can influence others. The energy you put out into the world has the power to inspire and uplift those around you. Your positive mindset can create a ripple effect that impacts others in meaningful ways. The long-term benefits of positive thinking. As Sam continued to live with a positive mindset, the long-term benefits began to show in ways he had never imagined. Career flourished, but perhaps more importantly, his persona. Life became a testament to the power of focusing on the positive aspects of life, strengthening his career. By now, Sam had been promoted twice at his job. His boss, who had once considered him a quiet, often unsure employee, now saw him as a leader. His ability to remain calm under pressure, his proactive problem-solving approach, and his willingness to take on new challenges made him stand out. He found himself being entrusted with more responsibility, including leading a team of people who were looking up to him for guidance. In meetings, Sam no longer hesitated to share his ideas or speak up. He understood that his thoughts were valuable and that his contributions mattered. When he found himself surrounded by negativity or office gossip, instead of getting sucked into it, he chose to redirect conversations to solutions and possibilities. His colleagues began to take notice. Some of them asked him how he had changed, how he had become more confident and focused, and Sam happily shared his journey with them. He encouraged his co-workers to practice gratitude, to focus on solutions instead of problems, and to be mindful of their internal dialogues. Sam realized that the positive thinking that had helped him at work had also made him more capable of managing the stresses of his personal life. He had learned to look at every situation through a lens of opportunity and growth, not defeat. A strengthened relationship with family. On the personal front, Sam's relationships also started to change. He spent more time with his family, which had been strained for years due to his long work hours and stress. Sam had never been close to his parents, but as he grew he started to understand the importance of family. He saw that they were just as human as he was, capable of growth, mistakes, and learning. Sam made a conscious decision to spend weekends with his parents. First, it was awkward. They had not shared personal moments in the past, and conversations felt forced. But Sam made it a habit to engage with them by talking openly about his life, sharing his challenges, and listening to theirs. The positive thinking that had strengthened his professional life also enabled him to be more patient and understanding at home. When his mother fell ill, Sam put his work on hold and devoted his time to caring for her. He did not feel burdened by this. Instead, he felt grateful that he had the opportunity to give back and show her the love and care that she had always shown him. Personal growth and continued learning. Sam also began to invest in his personal development in new ways. He took courses on emotional intelligence, mindfulness, and even leadership. Positive thinking had shown him that there was no end to growth, and he was always striving to learn more about himself and the world around him. As he reflected on his journey, Sam realized that positive thinking wasn't about ignoring reality or pretending that bad things didn't happen. It was about cultivating a mindset that empowered him to face challenges with hope and determination. He began to spend time meditating each morning, focusing on his breath and practicing gratitude for all the small things in life: his health, his family, his work. He still faced difficulties, but now he felt equipped to handle them. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, he focused on the lesson that each challenge held. Sam also took time to travel and experience new cultures, meeting people from different walks of life. He was amazed by how many shared struggles and aspirations he found, regardless of their background or circumstances. He began to realize that everyone faced challenges and hardships, but it was how we responded to them that made all the difference. Spreading positivity. One of the most rewarding parts of Sam's journey was realizing that his positive mindset didn't just benefit him, it had a ripple effect on the people around him. His coworkers, friends, and even strangers he met in his daily life noticed the change in him. He became someone they could rely on for advice, inspiration, and support. Sam decided to channel his newfound positivity into helping others. He started mentoring young professionals who were struggling with confidence and negativity. He gave speech about the power of mindset and hosted workshops on gratitude, resilience, and emotional intelligence. As he did so, Sam found a deep sense of fulfillment in helping others achieve the same peace and success that he had found. Sam also began writing a blog about positive thinking, sharing his journey, tips, and strategies with a larger audience. Over time, his blog gained a following, and he started to receive messages from people around the world who had been inspired by his story. The power of gratitude. A key component of Sam's ongoing growth was his practice of gratitude. He learned that a positive mindset didn't just come from changing negative thoughts into positive ones. It came from shifting his focus to what was already good in his life. Every day, He wrote down 3 things he was grateful for, no matter how small. Over time, this practice helped him become more attuned to the beauty and joy that existed all around him, even in difficult time. Through this practice, Sam discovered that gratitude wasn't just about appreciating the good things in life, it was about learning to find joy even in the hard moments. He realized that there was always something to be thankful for, even on the darkest days. Looking forward, as Sam continued to live with a positive mindset, he felt an overwhelming sense of peace. He knew that life was not always going to be easy, but he also knew that his mindset was the one thing he could control. The positive thoughts, gratitude, practices, and resilience he had cultivated would remain with him, no matter what life threw his way. Sam had come a long way from the man who used to dwell in negativity and self-doubt. He was no longer chasing happiness. It had already become a natural part of his life. He had learned to create his own happiness by focusing on what was good, by taking responsibility for his thoughts, and by embracing every challenge as an opportunity for growth. Sam's journey was ongoing, and he knew that he would continue to evolve. But the lessons he had learned were timeless, and he was excited to see where this new chapter of his life would take him. Moral 1. Positive thinking is a lifelong journey. Embracing a positive mindset takes consistent effort, but the rewards are transformative. Every small shift in thinking leads to bigger changes in life. 2. Gratitude brings clarity and joy. The practice of gratitude can help you stay focused on what's good in your life, even in the face of adversity. 3. Resilience is built through practice. Resilience is not an inherent trait, it's built over time through how we respond to life's challenges. Positive thinking can help us bounce back from difficulties stronger than before. 4. Helping others amplifies your positivity. Sharon, your journey and helping others cultivate a positive mindset creates a ripple effect that spreads joy and inspiration to those around you. 5. Happiness comes from within. True happiness is created within yourself, and it comes from how you choose to view and respond to the world. As Sam concluded his talk, the room was filled with a deep sense of reflection and admiration. The audience sat in silence, processing the powerful message that had been shared. The journey of embracing positive thinking, resilience, and gratitude was not just Sam's, it was a path that anyone could take, no matter their background or struggles. Sam smiled as he looked out at the crowd, seeing faces that were slowly transforming from uncertainty to inspiration. He knew that his story had touched their hearts, just as the stories of others had touched his. In that moment, Sam felt a deep sense of fulfillment, not because of his personal success, but because he had helped others see the power they held within themselves. He took a deep breath, filled with gratitude, and walked off stage, knowing that his journey wasn't over. Each day was an opportunity to practice what he preached, to live in the moment, and to be a beacon of positivity for those who needed it most. I'm so glad you spent this time with me. If you liked the story, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Take care, and see you next time.